We are back. I didn't intend on doing a Periscope tonight, and I'm out in my car right now because this is definitely not a topic I want to talk about with my kids around. I don't want them to hear this shit. I don't want them to know it exists. I want them to maintain their innocence and not have anything to do with this sort of thing, and not. I don't want them to ever know it exists. You know, unfortunately, it does. So this is some big stuff going on right now. Yesterday, I knew that Maura's book, Maura Grayland is the daughter of Marion Zimmer Bradley. She is a harp player. She's a singer. She's a writer. She just came out with a book called The Dark Side of Avalon, and I've read about 3 chapters of it, and it is, I mean, it's hard to read. It's terrible what happened to Marion Zimmer Bradley as a little girl. It's terrible. What happened to Maura, it's unbelievable. And the problem is the entire publishing community, the entire arts community, the entire Hollywood community, they celebrate this kind of lifestyle. This kind of lifestyle that perpetuates the abuse of kids. This kind of lifestyle that perpetuates rape. This sort of lifestyle that perpetuates harassment, this sort of lifestyle that perpetuates the way they treat and dehumanize anybody who doesn't believe in their crazy political agendas. This is the end result, okay? The end result is what happened to Maura, and it happened at the conventions. It happened in the homes. I'm bubbling a little bit here because I'm so livid about this whole thing. It's so wrong what happened to her that this never should have been allowed. And unfortunately, what happened was when Marion Zimmer Bradley started getting bigger with her work, and the whole concept was, it was a sexually liberating take on books and blah 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 blah. That's what she wrote about. She wrote about this nasty kind of stuff. And what was going on was a lot darker than she even wrote about. And if you look at it, I mean, this is not an isolated incident. This is not an isolated incident. Look at Heinlein's work, man. His later work, same sort of thing. I love his early work, but his later work devolved into this weird obsession with creepy sex stuff. And there had to be something weird going on there. I mean, let's be honest. And so this is happening throughout the science fiction community, throughout the Hollywood community. We've seen all the little scandals coming out with Hollywood, recently. And, what did Jennifer Lawrence say? Jennifer Lawrence, the actor, said she was lined up at 15 years old, stripped naked with a bunch of other girls, and paraded around in front of a male director with a female director who just kind of looked at their 15-year-old bodies. And the male guys was like, she's too fat. When she, she's a skinny chick too. And then said, no, she's fuckable. This is the type of people we're dealing with, right? These people wanted this sexual revolution. They wanted this in our books. They wanted it in our entertainment because they wanted to normalize their lifestyles, their sick, degenerate lifestyles. Okay, that's what's going on here. And when I see Kat Rambo tonight, I saw her Twitter post where she said, the alt-right is more concerned about a 20-year-old corpse than the pussy-grabbing 45 or whatever it was. Here's what's going on, woman. We are concerned because there's a book out that's related in the field of somebody who is very prominent in the field for her harp playing, her filking. She hangs out at these conventions. She gets paid at these conventions. She's somebody you, as the Science Fiction Writers of America, who's written a related work in science fiction now that's doing very successful, your job as the president of that organization is to protect this person and to further their career. That is your job, Kat Rambo, okay? I know you hate me, and I know you're watching this because everybody's going to be watching this. But you know what? That's your job. And what you just did was to dehumanize her, to make her story not worthwhile, and to dehumanize anybody who's reading her book and cares about what happened to her. And that's what's going on here. It's disgusting. And the entire point of this is to cover up the pedophilia, to cover up the disgusting things that were done to her. Because Marion Zimmer Bradley is a feminist icon and a gay icon. And that's all that Kat cares about. She wants to hold up her feminist gay icons because it's her identity politics, and she wants to destroy anybody who even questions the superb morality of such a thing. It's awful. And here's the deal: that the whole politics of this, the whole lifestyle of this, it leads to this sort of thing every single time. It comes from this sort of thing every single time. I remember reading one of a book by Tammy Bruce. Tammy Bruce is a lesbian commentator on the news, and she has a radio show. And I read her book, and if you look at it, most people who identify with the gay lifestyle come from abusive homes. It happens. This cycle of abuse causes this. And it keeps going and it keeps going and it perpetuates itself and it gets worse. Now, when you add a permissive culture of drugs and alcohol like we have now in the United States, just think about how bad these things go. It goes even crazier. And that's what we've got here. It's not right. We need to put a stop to it. And, I'm livid. So I'm starting this SFWA hashtag. And what I want to do with this is I want to start outing all the other problems that we got. Now think about it. All their conventions, think about all the conventions and all the guys who get false accused of harassment. I was earlier this year, I was looking into Jim Frankel. He told an off-color joke in front of some crazy lesbian fat lady. And she went nuts and got him kicked out of the con, and then got him kicked out of another con, and got him fired from his job at Tor, because he told an off-color joke at a party, right? And this sort of thing happens all the time, right? And they've got these harassment things going on, and that they're obsessed with these little harassment things at conventions. What do they call it? Harassment policies. They're obsessed with their harassment policies. Okay, that's all they ever talk about. They're into it. This is all they care about. The reason they care about this and they talk about this all the time is they know they and their friends are actually doing things that are far worse, and they want to put the focus on this sort of things so that turns attention away from their deviant, disgusting lifestyles. Okay? That I'm not mincing words anymore, but this is what's going on. This is why they're angry with me, trying to destroy me as a person, because I speak out against this sort of thing. I've seen this going on at cons. I mentioned this in another Periscope the other day when I was talking about Mora. All these conventions have upstairs BDSM rooms where people get tied up and whipped and beaten and things like that. People are dressing up and humiliating other people in public in order to get their rocks off. There's weird orgies going on at these things. These conventions are disgusting, okay? And it needs to stop. Because back in the day, when these started, these were just meant to be people getting together to celebrate writing, okay? And celebrate writing of people who were interested in visions of the future. That was the original intent of this, but it got taken over by the crazies. And the crazies use this as a haven to do their weird stuff. And their weird stuff, at that point, what they're willing to talk about, if they're proud of a lot of this stuff, a lot of them are proud of these weird things they do at the conventions, and they actually have panels on it. It's on the convention programming directly. If this is what they're proud of, if they're I would never talk about stuff like that. I mean, I could never even imagine it, right? If they're proud of this sort of stuff, what are they holding in their closets? And that's what we've got going on, because that's exactly what Mora's book, The Last Closet, is about. So, SFWA, I want to call this sort of stuff out. If you have experienced anything like this, if you have weird pedophilia things going on or weird inappropriate things going on that has happened to you from science fiction publishing professionals or fantasy publishing professionals, I want to know about it. I'm here to expose it. We're going to change the world here. We're going to change everything starting now. And that's what I want to get done right now. I want all of this to go away because I have children, and I want my children to be able to hang out and enjoy science fiction, enjoy Spider-Man, enjoy whatever with me, and have a good time with me without having to deal with all this crazy, creepy stuff. And that's it. They've inserted the crazy, creepy stuff into everything. I showed earlier, I put a link that they're putting a children's cartoon and making it into gay bestiality sort of erotica as a DC comic book is coming out. All this stuff is related. All this stuff is the same people. And whoa, my light turned out here. All right. and all this stuff, it needs to stop. The bottom line is it needs to stop. We need to take back these institutions. We need to make a real change. I'm livid because, I feel for Maura. And when I see what happened, when I see Maura, coming out with this book, being brave enough to write down think about what this woman had to relive. She had to remember every detail for 600 pages of the abuse that she suffered at Marion Zimmer Bradley's and Marion Zimmer Bradley's lovers' hands for years. And had to relive this while she wrote it, only to have the person who's the Science Fiction Writer of America the president of the Science Fiction Writers of America. If there's any person who should be Maura's biggest advocate, it should be this person, poo-pooing her on Twitter in order to make a political point because Maura's on the wrong side. That's all that's where we're at now. So, so tag Cat Rambo and let her know how displeased you are that you are being called alt-right in order to dehumanize you for being concerned about frickin' pedophilia, okay? You got to tag her. You got to tag SFWA. Put hashtag SFWAgate. We need to apply the social pressure now to make this stop. We are the only ones who can do it. There's nobody else who's going to do it. This is on us. It's not going to be fun, but we have to do it, guys. This is it. This is a big battle. All right. Thank you very much. I got to get back inside and fight the good fight. Pray for Maura, everybody, please. Maura is a good woman, and she needs strength. She's doing great with her book sales, but, she needs your support as a human being right now. All right, thank you very much. See you guys.